Welcome to another RealSense Now episode right here on Florida Man Radio. If you don't know what the show is all about, we are here to give you all the facts about what's trending in the world of real estate and more importantly, give you some interesting strategies in how you can create generational wealth for you and your family. One thing we know for sure is that the housing market is constantly in a state of flux, and we will always continue to see it shift and change, providing new opportunities and challenges that come along with it. The question in terms of how to determine your success is purely going to be based on how you navigate through those changes and challenges and how one can capitalize on the opportunities to create income, add assets to your portfolio over time, and more importantly, allow you to create, as I love to say on the show, generational wealth for you and your family. I want to transform my listeners into mega millionaires. I want to transform them into property owners that own multiple units that they can hand over to their kids and really change the trajectory for how they live their life. That's my goal. That's my motto. That's my mantra. That's what I want to live by. And if we're able to serve people in doing that, we've already changed the course for a lot of people's lives, whether they're watching us, listening to us, or maybe catching the show at a later stage in their life when they are ready to receive the information. So get ready to crank up your volume because right now you're tuned into RealSense Now, the ultimate hotspot for everything real estate right here on Florida Man Radio. This is exactly where the magic happens, where we bring you face to face with some of the most extraordinary minds sculpting our real estate world today. And today we have a special guest. Wagner Nolasco, a trailblazing businessman, a real estate investor with over 20 years experience. He's a real estate investor, he's a broker, he's a developer, he's a builder, and he's the founder and CEO of Build to Rent and 7 other companies. His mission has been to help achieve financial independence and delivering more than $700 million in projects throughout his career in Florida and elsewhere for investors that are looking to expand their portfolio and change the way that their investments look like. You know, these projects amount to more than $600 million and put a lot more in potential sales coming down the pipeline. He's also transformed the complete infrastructure in how we traditionally transact in real estate. Because he's not here to only identify an investment opportunity, but get your contract signed virtually and also manage the remittance of the funds so that it becomes a streamless process. You see, we don't bring any guests on the show. We bring some of the best guests that we can offer to help change the way you live your life and the trajectory of where your life can go. He's also co-authored 4 books which have been Amazon bestsellers as well too. Next Level, Think Big, The Transformational Journey, Persistence, Pivots, and Game Changers. Today, I want this show to be a game changer for you. Wagner, welcome to the show.
Dawood, thank you so much for the opportunity. Hello, everybody. Thank you for for the opportunity of being here tonight.
So let's get inspired and informed. Let's get into this. I want you to share with us how you got into your journey in real estate and what got you started in this field versus any other career path you could have taken.
I think it's all about mission, right? Some people, they do have a purpose, and I have a mission. And God put me in this journey just because I love helping people. I love real estate. I'm addicted to it. 2 things I'm addicted to, it's coffee and real estate. Once I was exposed to it, and it was right in the beginning of the years 2000. So we're going to talk about crisis and how we overcome them. So 2001, we had the first one, right? Which was September 11, 2001, if you remember correctly. So I got in, and then the market got really strange because terrorist attacks and the market has changed. Everything was going fine until 2008. 2008, the market changed again. So I started my career in real estate in the hospitality industry. We were representing big hotel groups, Four Seasons, Hard Rock Hotel and Casinos, Borgata, Trump Towers in Atlantic City, large hotel groups. 2001 came, put a stop into that. Nobody was developing. Everybody was afraid. The market was very shy. 2008 came, changed the game again. Now we had a whole bunch of inventory to be acquired at the doorsteps of the courthouses, and nobody was building new, right? So That changed the game again. I went from the hospitality into the new construction. I apologize, into remodeling and flip. And then 2013, we gained into the new construction as opportunities became more scarce.
You know, Wagner, for a lot of listeners, they may be listening, and I don't mean to downplay your story because it's a really inspirational one, but they're probably going to say, hey, this guy is intelligent. He knows what he's doing. So it's probably good for him, but not for me. But one of the core principles or legs or pillars for your business is actually helping transform the life of investors that you're working with. So let's come back to the philosophy. What's the philosophy or the importance of financial independence, and how do you achieve it for your investors?
Financial independence is everything. You being able to work in something you love instead of something you have to. You being able to work in something you really appreciate and you're building value for people. It's exactly what your purpose should be in life. Right? Life is too short. We don't live a lot. So you gotta enjoy the precious times you have with your family, your friends, your partner. And how can you achieve that? By financial freedom, financial independence. There's many ways to do it. Some people invest in stocks, some people in Bitcoins. I don't invest on any of those items other than real estate. That's my safe pathway, at least for me. And how I found that is rental properties. There's something that does not change. The first of the month will come every month. In summer, winter, fall, spring, the first of the month is the day that the rent is due. And if you create a large enough portfolio, it doesn't have to be large at the beginning. Everything starts with one property. And that's what I wanted to incentivize. If you don't know what you're doing, get a mentor. Call us. We can send you tips. We can help you get started. Most important thing is one thing that I use a lot. It's take action. You only succeed if you get out of your comfort zone. That's how you grow. A lot of the pains are here to teach you how to grow, how to become successful, and success is relative, right?
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think the beauty of real estate in particular is it's not going anywhere.
It's not.
You can create passive income, which is something many people hear about and really just don't know how to achieve. It sounds really good, but I think we're all programmed to focus on active income. So I love that you touched on a couple of things. And I think what's beautiful about this strategy in particular is you're investing in an asset, especially if it's an income producing property. The rents are due, the rents are going up every single year, maybe by 3%, 5%, whatever the market is bearing at the time. There's appreciation. There's forced appreciation if you're renovating or improving and adding value to your property as well too. There's tax advantages that you can take advantage of, and you can leave it for your kids. Yes. Because no matter if the real estate market trends upwardly or downwardly, real estate will always trend upwardly over time. I feel like I say this on every single show, but it is the truth.
It is. 9 out of 10 millionaires in the US became millionaires because of real estate investing. So, don't listen to me if you don't believe, just go on Google, right? What I have to say is this. Sometimes we want to change the world. Start changing one thing at a time. Most important thing right now is your house. Does your kids have a future? Do you have a retirement plan? I have 2 daughters, one 14 and one 10. Both of them own houses. I purchased them homes so they can learn how to read a rent roll. Are they making money? Are they losing money? How much are their repairs? So make sure you start from planting a seed in your own house. Teaching your kids financial freedom, how to become successful, is our obligation as parents. And the biggest people you should start helping before you help anybody else
is yourself.
It's your family and yourself.
And I want to take it one step back, because as much as you're absolutely right in what you said, I think we're missing a very important part, which many people that are listening are realizing that they're getting the cheat code already. The work starts off with your desire to want to make a difference, because if you choose to, if you desire to, you will find the way. There's many mentors. Tune into a show like ours. Reach out to somebody like you so that you can get the knowledge, the wherewithal in order to make those changes that we're talking about.
And can I say something?
Yeah,
it's very important. The education is available now in many platforms, as Arwood has just said. You don't have to pay for it. There's great podcasts available, great radio shows, great YouTube videos. I mean, and the most important thing is get started. Start educating yourself. Go to events, go to seminars, go to meetups, listen to the content available, create your own portfolio. Maybe you like commercial. I love residential. That's my baby. That's what I do. But maybe you like commercial. Maybe you like, I don't know, you like land. You want to create a land bank. Whatever it may be, get educated.
Even if it's a lifestyle asset, like a short-term rental for you
100%.
to enjoy and rent out, because that's also going to appreciate. You're also generating income. But you touched on the sweet spot. The sweet spot is passive income. I just love passive income. I like working as little as possible to make money. I know it sounds far-fetched, but there's a lot of people out there doing it. Share with us your strategies for generating passive income in real estate.
So you have to be very, very vivid and alive and attent to what's happening on the market. Okay, as I had mentioned, my strategy in 2008, it's not my strategy today. Why? In 2008, right after the crash, we had so much inventory available for purchase at pennies on the dollar that it was much less expensive to purchase a property, remodel, push appreciation up, make sure we kept it rented with a great tenant than actually building new. So now the strategy since 2013, we saw a very large shortage of inventory. You know, the banks know what they have now. They don't want to give it away for pennies on the dollars like they used to in 2008. So right now, the best strategy, at least for me, it's new construction. The reason why I love new construction, first is because it's new. You're up to code. So your insurance premiums on a new construction, it will be 60 to 70% compared to an old building. And as we know, expenses are directly correlated with cash flow. And the more expenses you have, the minimum amount of cash flow, if any, will be left over. So in my strategy, I only buy and build new properties. We have 4 additional builders that creates inventory for us. We transact about 700 units every year.
That's crazy.
That's new construction. I love single family homes. Some people like multifamily. I love single family just because the exit strategy. I can package my single families and I can sell it to a fund.
Correct.
I can sell it to a private equity. I can sell it to a REIT. I can sell it to one of you guys that are investing.
A mom and pop investor.
Mom and pop investors. And I can sell it to a retail client that it's looking to live on that property. So the biggest appreciating asset in any real estate class, it's single family homes historically. And the most exit strategy friendly for investors is single family homes. That's why I love them. That's why I buy. Before we move into the next topic, let me just give you some of the components of real estate, and Dawood was right on the money. Most thing is this: you are actually making money on rent on a monthly basis. Every first of the month, the rent is due. The second thing is this: you're making real appreciation. So you're leveraging against inflation, right? Third is this: you're utilizing your bonus depreciation to offset some of your gains in taxes. So even though you have an appreciating asset, you have a depreciating asset with the IRS. So bonus depreciation and cost segregation is something the IRS has renewed, and you can actually take a lot of the benefits that the government does for everybody. This is available for every U.S. citizen, U.S. resident. You can offset a lot of your gains, meaning a lot of your rental income, you're not going to pay taxes on it. That's pretty much tax-free money. So when you have an appreciating asset, a cash flowing asset, positive cash flowing asset, and you're not paying taxes on it legally, that's a dream come true.
100%.
Right? Not only that, let's just say that I decided to offset some of my portfolio and I want to sell it. Now I can do a 1031 exchange. I can actually carry over my taxes into the next property. In the US is the only country in the world where you can get a 30-year fixed mortgage. I don't know if you guys knew this. Canada has a 30-year fix,
but it's renewable every 5 years.
There you go. So they will reevaluate, reappreciate your asset, and then you will have, offsets on some of your mortgages. So out of every country in the world, this is the only place you can borrow today and pay back in 30 years with today's cost of capital.
Yeah, but Wagner, the public consensus is that now is not a good time to buy. The interest rates are really high. There's a lot of properties on the market. Everything you're saying sounds great, but how does one identify the best opportunities in today's market?
Let me go back to 2019 for a minute. Do you guys remember pre-COVID what interest rates were? Very close to what they are now.
6, 7, I think it was. Yeah.
And where are we today?
Around the same.
So we keep saying we have very high interest rates, but we're exactly where we were in 2019. Well, let me just give you a scenario. The interests are not probably coming down this year. Only, Jerome Powell and the Fed knows. But basically, what's going to end up happening is this. If the interest drops a quarter of a basis point, what's going to happen is prices of the properties are going to skyrocket again because you're going to have demand.
Correct.
The more demand, less supply, prices go up. So be careful. The best time to buy is now, not tomorrow, not in a year, because that house will appreciate tremendously very soon.
And you heard it right here from our expert today. Wagner, thank you for being on the show. You're not going anywhere because I have a lot more questions for you. Huge thank you for you. I really appreciate your incredible insights. And I really hope that this information, it will spark your desire for your own financial independence, because financial independence is within reach if you take the right steps. Hang tight, because when we come back, we're going to keep thinking big and making smart investments. It's your host, Dawood Bedrosian. You're listening to RealSense Now. If you have a real estate question for me, all you have to do is reach out to me on any one of my social media platforms. That's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I don't know, whatever else. Just type in my name, you'll find me, Dawood Bedrosian. That's DAWOODBEDROSIAN. And check out our YouTube channel. Maybe you can learn a thing or two over there. Catch you after the break. And we're back, Real Sensors, to yet another episode of RealSense University. It's your host, Dawood Bedrosian. I love presenting this show because it gives me an opportunity to connect with what I love and hopefully make a difference. For the listeners that have been listening, for the viewers that have been watching over the years, I thank you for joining the show, because we're really here to impart wisdom, knowledge for you to go out and seek your own financial independence. Today, we're diving into the world of real estate and investment with none other than Wagner Nolasco. From his innovative proposals to helping real estate investors prosper, thrive in markets like Florida and beyond, Wagner's story is one of passion, perseverance, and success. I want you to stay tuned, ask your questions, reach out to us, because we are here to assist in every way possible. Wagner, our listeners are often eager to hear about or learn about what's trending, what's current in our real estate market. How would you describe our real estate market today in Florida?
So, January, we had a very huge expectation of interest rates coming down. That's how we started 2024. I've been a speaker in many conferences. Last one was last week in Miami, IMN. Who is there? Jeff from SVN, the founder of many of the most famous platforms, for example, Roofstock, Gary Bisley from Roofstock. So at the end of the day, you have those brilliant minds thinking. And the change has happened in the consensus of what to expect this year on the interest rates. So the market was very dependent always in interest rates. We Americans, we love leverage, right? That's what makes us beautiful. It's utilizing a lot of less cash and buying a lot of more units. Well, we actually found out now that interest rates are not going anywhere, at least for right now. Nobody knows, only the Fed knows. But what I can tell you right now is this. The market has captured that we have to move forward transacting. So I predict that this second quarter of the second half of the year, we're going to have a lot more transactions than what we did at the beginning of the year. Especially, it is an electoral year. We're not going to get into politics, but it's really important that people are very on the edge on how to move forward. Should I buy now? Should I wait? And the most thing is this. A lot of the big funds, a lot of the banks, a lot of the REITs, they're moving forward and they're buying. That should tell you something, right? Prices will continue to go up. Real estate is local. Real estate is absolutely codependent on the local employers, local economy, jobs, demographics, who is moving there, net immigration. But most important is this. Do not be the last one when the dance stops. As soon as interest rates comes down, prices on the properties are going to go up. Multiple offers are going to come in, and then you're going to be like, wow, I wish I could have purchased a house, 2 years ago. We all say this. Well, if I knew the 2008, well, nobody knows anything, but you got to use your sense, common sense, study, research. Right now, it's one of the best times for you to buy a house if you didn't buy it pre-COVID.
And you know what? Nobody would have known that property values were going to appreciate over 30%. Making Orlando one of the hottest markets to have been in, especially if you had bought pre-COVID, because your values have gone through the roof.
100%. I bought properties pre-COVID for my personal portfolio at 149,000, a 3-2 in Ocala, 1,400 square feet, 2-car garage. $149,000.
And what is that now? 400?
289.
Oh, 289. Okay. Well, I was about to say 300, but I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt for some more.
So at the end of the day, you see how much appreciation plays a role, but don't worry about appreciation alone. Historically, Florida has been a great state for appreciation, but here you're going to have cash flow, you're going to have tax consequences which will depreciate, or tax-wise your assets. You actually will have positive cash flow. A very few states in the country that still produces positive cash flow is Florida. And by the way, I mean, everybody's moving here. Jeff Bezos is now in Miami. A lot of the big funds are here. Trump has now his, personal residence here for tax purposes. And we are a pro-business state. I do business in Texas. We have a construction company in Texas. We do development in Texas and Florida. And I'll tell you, the scenario in both states are so different. In my number one state, even Texas is an amazing state, but we do have problems with the property taxes. Property taxes get readjusted every so often at fair market value, and that plays a role into your cash flow. Best state in the country, hands down, as from my personal experience, is Florida.
We've experienced a lot of challenges in our market: inflation, recession. You mentioned earlier, and I want you to elaborate on this. How or why is real estate a hedge against inflation?
Well, because it is an appreciating asset, right? Let's just say that you buy a car. Or let's just say that you buy a personal home for you to live. Anything that doesn't produce income is a liability. It's not an asset, right? Even your primary residence, believe it or not, you have maintenance. You're not making any money out of the property. Even though you have appreciation, you're buying that property because you wanted to live in that amazing property. You're doing it for yourself and for your family. An investment property is completely different. The property needs to be good. The cash flow needs to be confirmed. The taxes, the tax benefits needs to be there. So why Florida? Well, because we're pro-business. I don't know if I got a little lost on the question here, but what I wanted to say to the listeners is this. Make sure before you buy an expensive car, you have an investment property that will pay for the car for you.
Correct.
That car will depreciate. Your asset will continue to appreciate. And why is it historically, the appreciation of single-family homes, they surpass any inflationary period. Even in the 80s when we had 18% a year mortgage rates in the U.S., I'm not sure if you guys remember, 70s and 80s were really tough. Real estate was still one of the hugest asset acquire. Unless you're going to buy gold, you're going to buy metals. There is always a leverage against inflation. The U.S. dollar, for example, before 1959, we still have gold backing our dollar. It's not the case anymore, right? It's an IOU. A dollar right now is the government printing money and saying, I owe you this much money. A real estate property, no. Even if a hurricane comes, which, thank God, knock it on wood, it's not coming to Florida, you still have the property. You're going to have to make repairs, but you still have the property. Stocks, they can become penny stocks. Any other investment other than real estate, there's severe risks. Real estate, because of the demand, there's always risk. Investing is always a risky thing, but you can mitigate your risk by owning real estate. You have a tangible asset you can touch.
Absolutely. Tell us about your humble beginnings. You started off as a police officer or something?
I came to the U.S. In 1993.
Okay.
So it's been 30 years that I've been here. I had so many passes in the U.S. Well, I was a valet parking when going to college. I cleaned restaurants, just like every immigrant, right? We have to do this.
Yes.
Proud of you guys that came here and put in the hard work. I became a commander for Flotilla 1711 of the Coast Guard Auxiliary here in the U.S. I actually became a police officer after I semi-retired. I semi-retired, and my dream was becoming an FBI agent.
Really?
And I couldn't, fulfill that because I was opening businesses. I sold a business in 2013. We sponsored the Olympics in Rio, the volleyball, in 2016. I sold several companies so far, and my biggest dream was to become a police officer. And I did. So here we go. I went to Valencia at almost 40 years old, and I became a cop. And the reason is, why not?
Yeah.
What limits you? I took a motorcycle trip from Key West to Prudhoe Bay in Alaska for almost 30 days.
Really?
Why
that
not?
long?
Yeah.
I mean, like you can get from there to there in 30
You
days?
can go from mile zero to mile zero. So you go from Key West, it's exactly the southernmost point in the continent US,
Correct.
and then you go to the most northern point in the continent US. So 28 days, I did my whole trip, and the reason is why not? So when you ask yourself, why should I invest? Only your heart, your mind can tell you exactly why. Though, what I have to say this, I don't like to judge people. I don't like to label people. I respect everybody in this individuality, but this is what I found on my trip to Alaska.
Tell me.
There's only three types of people in this world.
I want to hear this one.
There is the old people that they'll come to you during the trip and says, "Oh my God, this is so amazing. I wish I was young and I could do it." So they regret what they have not done. There's people that say they will do it one day, and then there's people that does it. That's the difference between your perspective. Do you want to regret for not have done it? Do you want to keep saying you're going to do it in one day without actually a plan or a date or when? Or are you going to do it? Simple as that.
You know, your history, your story is so incredible because it's a test or it's the trophy result of hard work, persistence, and literally thinking big and having a dream. And on that note, you are a co-author of many Amazon best-selling books, one of which is ironically labeled or called Think Big. How did you become an author? How did that happen?
Everything in my life, I have to thank God. He's the only guy up there that actually played. How did I meet you? Let's just go back. Not by accident.
By synchronicity.
We went into an event invited by common friends.
Yes.
That was actually an event that was helping kids with cancer.
Correct.
And that's how I met this amazing guy.
Yeah, we were sitting beside each other at the table.
We were
really
sitting beside
connected.
each other. I was beating, on a project, and we were fighting against each other or somebody else that was on our table. And this is the beauty of life. You never know where life will take you as long as you're open to accept the opportunity. So how God made me an author? By presenting to an amazing guy called Kyle Wilson. Kyle is Jim Rohn's business partner for 18 years. And he actually wrote many, many books. He was responsible for Jim Rohn International. If you don't know who Jim Rohn is, he's the all-time, in my personal opinion, speaker, motivational speaker in this country. And through Kyle, I met Jim has passed away already. Unfortunately, I didn't have the pleasure to meet him. But I spent a weekend in Dennis Waitley's house in California. All these amazing people that I had the pleasure to be Brian Tracy, Les Brown. It's all because of friends just like you.
And Brian Tracy actually wrote the foreword to your book, correct?
He did. He wrote a foreword to one of my books. So you never know who God will put in your way. That's why it's really important that you keep your heart, your eyes, your ears, and your options open.
Absolutely. Let's talk about another milestone achievement. Lifetime Presidential Award. How does one get that?
Yes. Well, I've been very fortunate and humble. I come from a city of 28,000 people in Espírito Santo, Brazil. So my city had one traffic light. And I don't know how I got here, to be honest with you. But actually, it's the amount of work and devoted work that I did for the United States Coast Guard. I won in 2017 a Lifetime Service Award by President Donald Trump, the President of the United States at that time. That for me was one of the biggest achievements because when you come from a different country, you come from a different culture. The only advice I have for you, if you are, an immigrant and migrating to the U.S., is this: learn the language, learn the culture, and try to give back to your community. That's how recognition. If you're not searching for the recognition only, it will come to you. The recognition is just a payment for a job well done. And if it never comes, it's okay as well. The person that gives always gets more than the person that receives.
Absolutely. Actually, the original phrase, if I'm not mistaken, is a Greek phrase, which is, it is not better to give than it is to receive. The actual Greek phrase is, it is better to be in a position to give than in a position to have to receive.
100%. But the beauty is this: it doesn't matter how much you have, there's always somebody that will appreciate what you have to give.
Exactly.
Because sometimes it's not money. It's a word, it's a hug, it's a gesture, it's a hand, it's a phone call, it's a text message. It doesn't matter what you have to give, there's always somebody appreciating what you have. Doesn't matter how big or how small.
And the truth is, we live in a world where our whole economy, our currency is based on relationship arbitrage. It's how we interact with each other. I would have never thought that we would have this conversation. I would
know,
be
right?
sitting with a celebrated author and builder and developer, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And your accomplishments are, far more than many of the other guests that we've ever had here on the show. And it is a synchronistic event that we ended up meeting together. And I really believe that, through these conversations, through these interactions, we can not only learn more, but learn how to collaborate and coordinate, collaborate and achieve a lot of our goals and dreams and aspirations, even if we don't know how to go about doing it.
The beauty of life is simple. Let's try to focus on what is important. That's why purpose is the most important thing. Don't do anything you don't believe and you don't want it, you don't want to do it. Don't do it. Purpose. Have a meaning.
We hope you feel inspired and equipped to pursue your financial goals. Stay tuned because our conversations are going to be engaging with our expert advice from none other than Wagner Nolasco. This is Dawood Bedrosian reminding you to stay informed and just keep pushing forward. Achieve the stars. Go for your dreams because you can achieve it. Catch you after the break. And we're back, Real Sensors. It's your host, Dawood Bedrosian, right here on RealSense Now. Today, we have the privilege of speaking to Wagner Nolasco, a real estate mogul who has revolutionized the way that we transact in real estate, especially when it comes to investors. He started off with working with a lot of Brazilians looking to invest in the Florida market, and since expanded to domestic investors and many other international investors as well too. With over $700 million in projects and a mission to promote financial freedom, that is exactly the reason why we have him on the show. So let's dive into his journey and uncover the secrets to his success so that you can apply them in your life. Wagner, we've talked about investment strategies. We've talked about how you can drive the value of your property. Let's talk about some tax saving strategies for people who are looking to invest in real estate. We've heard about them, but they just seem a bit foreign sometimes. You feel like you need to become a CPA or an accountant, or you need to know tax law to be able to take advantage of that. Is that true?
Absolutely not. I don't know hardly anything about taxes, but I know how to identify professionals that will do it for you.
Correct.
That's the key. Remember, real estate is a team sport. Nobody does anything by itself. Like Dawood, he may have a listing. I might have a buyer. We work together for both sides to succeed on a transaction that it will be pleasant, it will be profitable, and it will be amazing. Because a lot of times we're messing up with dreams. We are actually carrying your dreams into a property, into an investment, and we're carrying a lot of times your retirement funds. On an investment property, the most important thing you have to do as far as financial planning is how much taxes are you going to be paying? Okay, what can you utilize legally to offset some of those taxes or to really depreciate your property faster? So with the exception of your land, which you cannot depreciate because land will always be there, pretty much the IRS has mentioned that you can depreciate a property, a real estate residential property, in 27 and a half years. There are companies that are formed by engineers, architects, and CPAs, which is cost segregation companies, which they'll do a study for you at a cost, and they'll do an accelerated depreciation schedule for you. A lot of times you can save up to 30% of your purchase price on year one. So a lot of us are U.S. citizens, and we are U.S. residents, so we can have a lot of S-corps that are flow through. So a lot of times, 100% of your income in rental properties, if you have a cost segregation, you can offset by not paying taxes. Let me just say this legally.
Legally. We don't want anybody coming to the show to question what we have to say. It's all legal.
And
here.
let me just say, I am not an accountant. I'm not an engineer. This is what I have utilized for my personal strategy. So please consult with a professional.
No, but you nailed it when you said real estate is a team sport. I mean, I think one of the most important decisions that you need to make if you're deciding to delve into this business, to become exposed to greater opportunities, is networking.
100%.
your network will determine your net worth. And I like to call it not working because I like networking all the time. So
Yeah.
people make fun of me all the time saying, you're always in a meeting. Well, I'm always trying to learn something and I'm always trying to connect with people. I said it many times before. We live in a relational economy where the currency is relationships. You are fingertips away from listening to a great podcast to learn how to invest in real estate or new opportunities or new markets because the information is readily available and, more importantly, abundant. I want to talk about how you manage risk for your investors when it comes to real estate investments, because you're managing a lot of money for a lot of different people in the space.
The secret of real estate, you will make money when you buy the property, not when you sell it. That's what I want to leave it for you guys. And the reason why you make money on the purchase is because what I do for my investors when we generate inventory, because we are builders, we actually have additional 4 builders that only exclusively build product for us. What we do is this product tenant resilient? Will it last long enough to minimize your maintenance cost? Really important. Number 2, what do? We try to minimize your exposure to down payments. So the less expensive of our product that you have at the highest rental market that you can get, more beneficial, more cash flow for you. The third item is this. You will have to make the decision upon the demographics, the time that you want to keep the property. I usually exchange my inventory every 7 years. That's what I do. And why? 7 years is a brand new home. Yes, but it's going to start giving you issues. So I rather get a portfolio, sell it, buy a new one, do a 1031 exchange. That works for me. So what we try to do in every property that we sell, we try to sell below fair market value. So our investors have equity day one.
So you're leaving some
we leave meat on the
table.
bone.
Yeah.
We leave meat on the bone because at the end of the day, you guys, if you are looking seriously of becoming real estate investors, you will end up buying multiple properties every year. That's why I got to treat my clients right. Second is this, buy new so insurance cost is low. Number 3, don't make the mistake of buying a piece of property where the path of growth is not heading that way. So make sure, even if it's cheap, doesn't mean it's good. So make sure you work with professionals that know the area, that know the demographics, that have access to the city, what companies are coming here, how many jobs are generating, what kind of an inventory is necessary that the city needs. Is it a 3-bedroom? Is it a 4-bedroom, right? It is a 1-bedroom. It depends if it's downtown. It is a studio, depending on the city. So make sure you know your product. But most important, do not buy anything that your heart doesn't tell you it's the right decision.
I'm reading in between the lines for everything that you're saying, and it seems like the market that is a great opportunity in today's market is affordable housing.
Yes. Affordable housing is like the trendy word of the decade, I think. And the reason why is we live on an appreciating asset world. Houses will eventually become more expensive. How did we actually face and we try to correct this pattern? We actually been working for over 2 years on a steel frame home that we're bringing in from China. And I know that that's changing, especially because our friends from Mexico are really doing a good job because they do have an agreement with NAFTA, which is the U.S., which is Mexico, and it's Canada. Yeah. So there's no taxes on the trade, on the commercial trade between those countries. So a lot of manufacturers are leaving China and are assembling factories in Guadalajara and several other places in Mexico. So what we do is simple. We actually got product approval in Miami-Dade County for a steel frame product, which is 20% cheaper on the cost of construction than if we bought all the product in the U.S. So we try to build less expensively, quicker, so you can get your product quicker, put it on the market quicker, pay less for your property. How can I translate that into construction? There's only 2 major secrets in construction that you should be aware when buying a property, when building a property. 1, the cost of financing, the cost of money, the cost of capital. The longer it takes you to build a property, the more expensive it's going to cost. So we usually try to build properties within 8 weeks if it's a steel frame property. And second is this. The less expensive you build, the more equity you have and you'll be able to share with your investors. So I look for 2 things, speed and cost. Those are the 2 main items that we look for us to build a property that will make sense financially for us, for our investors. Our properties generate between 6 and 8% return a year. And of course, the steel frame homes that we have now in Alabama are generating over 10% a year return for our investors. So it's fantastic. Of course, nothing is guaranteed. It is an investment. You have to do your due diligence, but it is basically what we do. We focus on areas that are very high on growth, very potential for employment. We work with the city and we generate product. That's our specialty. Just to let you know, we actually mastered. We were one of the first companies to sell properties online, especially during COVID. We were selling over 110 units a month, 100% online. And the reason why we did this is because we educate. Look for education. Look for companies, for professionals that will educate you without selling you anything. A client wants to buy already, but they don't want to be sold. They want it to be educated.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once I changed the hat that I wore from being a real estate professional to becoming an educator, the doors opened up. I was
100%.
able to speak to a room of over 1,000 investors, telling them about the merits of buying in Florida, why buy here. Everybody has the desire to want to be here, but they just don't know how to go about doing it. So once again, I mean, your wisdom, your information is just so spot on. And, for those that are looking to get involved in construction, Wagner really kind of tipped you off on the best two tips. Construction costs have been going through the roof. When we were developing our project during COVID, lumber costs went up by over 300%.
Yep.
And, maybe the wave of the future is steel frame homes, and you just nailed it. You're building it in a shorter window of time, saving more costs, more money, and ensuring a higher quality for the investors there as well, too.
It is a higher quality because remember, steel frame has been utilized in commercial construction in the U.S. since the 40s and 50s. So we're not reinventing the wheel, we're just adapting the product.
I love it. And last question. Give us a sneak peek on some of your upcoming projects that you're excited about, because I know you told me about a really exciting one during the break.
So I actually just purchased 208 acres in Texas, near Fredericksburg, which is the wine country of Texas. And it is with a Mexican group out of Querétaro, in which it's called Porta del Lobo. We're developing 96 residential lots, one hotel, a wedding venue, and it is a community focused 100% in the wine.
I love it.
The lots are an acre and a half. 0.75 acres is the plantation of grapes, and 0.75 is the residential component. The beauty about this project is this. It's like you living in a golf course community, but our focus is not the golf, it's the wine. So with your own grapes, you'll be able to make your own label, your own wine, share that with friends, eat at your own restaurant, have a hospitality component in one of the fastest growing states in the country, which is the beautiful, big state of Texas.
And on that note, salute to you.
Salute.
I can't wait to have that glass of wine with you in that community, or maybe just after the show right now. Thank you for being a guest. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, what's the quickest way for someone to reach you?
Wagner Nolasco.official is my Instagram. That'll be the best way. Or please, Dawood as well has all my contacts. Send him a message and we'll work together on responding.
A heartfelt thank you to you. If you enjoyed today's show, be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. That's how our show becomes bigger and bigger, and we're able to bring better guests and provide you with even more valuable information. Let's continue our journey towards financial freedom together. Until next time, it's your host, Dawood Bedrosian, and you're listening to RealSense Now.